Look, I had to watch ahead. It's Romania Black, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was gonna wait. I was gonna check comments, but I've reached this point on my channel where I'm watching some series that are coming out week to week, and so when I have times available and I can't watch those series because the new episodes aren't out yet, but I don't have enough time for like a movie or something, I'm like, what else can I watch tonight? And then I was like, I really, really want to kind of see what's gonna happen in Thousand Autumns. So I am watching a week ahead, but I have the novel to go through, so I'm still going to be reading everybody's comments. I'm still going to be writing stuff down. I'm still going to be talking about comments in the future. It just may be in the novel reactions instead. So what can we do? But I'm super excited. We're on episode 14 of Thousand Autumns. We only have 3 episodes left of the Donghua, which is becoming very apparent to me right now. Now, I did have a poll that was going to come out as last week's episode came out on Patreon about how I was going to do the novel and the audio drama. Since I'm recording this ahead of time, I don't know the results of that poll yet, so I'm going to have to wait till probably next week before we talk about that. But whenever I get to the poll being done, I'll talk about it in the intro. But yeah, so Shen Qiao, Heartbreak City last week, as he got to watch old Master Zhu die at the hands of Zhao Sei, and Bairong, she's just playing on the fence. She's like, I'm evil, but I'm not like, I don't want Shen Qiao to die. So she's keeping him alive, but she's still working with Song, Jing, and all that. And then the other guy, whose name was like Yan Shao, they all came, they killed Chu Yi did, they killed Master Zhu did, and Shiwu was left in Shen Qiao's hands, and he's taking him to go and hopefully he's taking him to go and get trained so that Shen Qiao can go on. And Shen Qiao, the evil spirit within him, has healing powers, apparently. You get that good juice in you. Somebody in the comments was like, your mind is very dirty. I'm like, look, it is not my fault that Thousand Autumns does this. And 5 years on this channel with people being of gutter minds in terms of yaoi doesn't help. But yeah, so basically, Shen Qiao has been able to cleanse his entire body, cleanse his chi, his foundation has been restored, and now he's got 2 versions of the celerity within him that are acting and interacting as they should have been had the poison not been bothering him. So that's great! Shen Qiao's all good to go! What about Yan Wushi? So that is the question. Yan Wushi is trailing Duan to see what he's up to, and we don't know exactly how he's working with Qin Gong, how that's gonna go. I'm going to be very curious because I know they didn't make a season 2. Sad face of Thousand Autumns. I'm going to be very curious to see how they end up ending this season of the Donghua and then what they're going to do. Now, I only have for reference Modao Zushi, which is a completed Donghua, and it's basically 3 seasons and it's done. And it covered essentially the entire story. It left out things that the novel and audio drama cover, but it's completed. Heaven Official's Blessing is just finished season 2, and it's got the OVAs and the work and all that, and season 3 will maybe come down the pipeline at some point, who knows. But it's, following the novel relatively well. Scumville and Self-Saving System got to a point, and then it sadly just went bloop, and has not picked it up from there, which, knowing that book for obvious reasons, the censors were like, what are we supposed to do about this? And it's like, So I don't know how they're going to end Thousand Autumns Donghua and how that will translate to the novel. I don't know. I'm excited to find out. That's going to be interesting. So we'll just see where that goes to from here. I do want to give a special shout out before we start to Reiki and Be Happy. Reiki and Be Happy have been helping me to organize and get audio drama files together. They've been helping me organize like how that's all gonna work. And then Be Happy was super kind, and they got me 2 more volumes of the actual novel. So when I start the novel reactions and reviews, I will not only have, thanks to Reiki, a digital copy of the novel for you all to follow along with me if you don't have a copy, but I'll have the official release as well. So because we want to support the author, we want to support the author, we want to support the series in an official capacity since we're reviewing it. So that seems fair, right? That seems fair. So yeah, I'm just offering my commentary alongside and my analysis. But yeah, I've talked enough. we're not gonna waste any more time. I had gotten off of work and I was like, I really just want to watch Thousand Autumns. Is anybody gonna be mad if I go ahead and watch? But I will be reading your comments, so please feel free to comment down below and I will get back to you. Do not worry. So anyway, this episode is 24 minutes long, and we actually get to watch all 24 minutes of it now. We can see the OP and the ED. We get all of it. So we're going to start that here and dive into episode 14 of Thousand Autumns. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh, there was a lot going on in this episode. Between my dog trying to get me to throw toys and me being like, what is happening? This definitely felt like an episode where there is stuff that was going on that had to be very condensed to fit into this time slot, which the last episode was 4 minutes longer, so I don't know why they felt the need to condense it, but they did. So this is definitely one of those episodes, and we only have 2 episodes left before we start the novel. This is definitely one of those episodes where I'm like, okay, we're gonna probably get a better explanation in much more detail in the novel itself. So I'm gonna break down what we know, but I'm also very in the mindset and understanding that the novel's gonna explain it in more detail and we'll just learn more then. So you don't have to explain to me in the comments down below if I get something wrong. I will find out when I read the novel, so we'll be good. It'll be fine. But we'll just at least break it down with how they set it up. But man, I did not expect that guy to throw himself off a ledge. Didn't expect that. Also, Shen Qiao being like, I'm not wanting to talk about Yan Wushi. We're going to get into that. I have some thoughts about that. So we're going to get into it. But yeah, what an episode. They're definitely setting up for Kunye versus Shen Qiao having a rematch in either episodes 15 or 16. I'm curious if Qin Gong is going to get involved because Duan was going to his place to talk to him. I'm curious to know, like, is Yan Wushi going to get involved, even though he probably shouldn't because he's not doing so well? There are lots of things being set up, so I'm curious. But this episode was called The Supremacy of Chivalry. So, and they say chivalry's dead, but we're going to look at this here in 3, 2, 1. So they say chivalry is dead, but we all know the truth. So let's dive into this, shall we? And see what we get. So I do like the fact in the recap, normally recaps I'm not a fan of, but I do like in the recap they establish, yes, Shen Qiao can see again. He has his sight back. He's pretty well off now. I love the concept that Shen Qiao, at first, Yan Wushi had the upper hand and the advantage, and he was doing great, and Shen Qiao was the one that was struggling, and now we're getting the yin and yang, as it were, for Shen Qiao, and now the story's flipping, and Shen Qiao is the one who's got it all together, and Yan Wushi is the one struggling. If Yan Wushi lost his eyesight, and Shen Qiao had to help him gain it back, that would be wild. That would be wild. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that would be insane. Seeing Yan Wushi walking around with a bamboo stick being like, mine's bigger. And then Shen Qiao would have to be like, like every 5 seconds. So yeah, we're not going to watch child death again. We're going to skate right past that. I will say, them striking down Master Zhu did feel like something out of Mortal Kombat or some like 90s arcade game. Feel bad for him. Not cool. So yeah, so Shen Qiao, everything's all good. We're going to Bixia. We make it to Bixia. I'm glad we're already here. Spare no time, spare no expense. But we are at the Bixia sect, which is where Master Zhu is from. And we establish, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the characters in this, I do want to say. I do love the setup of this place. Whenever they were walking up the stairs and Shiwu was like, what kind of sect is Bixia? And he's like, well, the leader is Zhao Qing. So real quick, the leader is Zhao and then Qing. Zhao Qing is our leader of the sect, and it is said that she's one of the top 10. She is one of the top 10 martial artists, which we know that Ruyan is part of, as well as Shen Qiao. I had 2 minor critiques of this episode, and I'm hoping that the novel explains that more, although one of them I think is just a critique in general of, We're gonna get to it in a hot second, but the first thing I have is if she's one of the top 10 martial artists, Zhao Qiying is, I was really, when I heard that, I was expecting her, and this is kind of layered, I was expecting her to be this like badass fighter because she's one of the top 10 martial artists, but she was really kind of submissive and meek in this episode. Like, she was like, they clearly, the people revered her, all of her sect revere her and think she's strong, but she didn't really show it off. She kind of like was very reserved and submissive in this episode. Now, we know that the author is capable of writing strong women characters. They've done that with Juju and Bairong at this point. So those are some strong female characters. So we know that they exist and that they are capable of doing it. It just, I don't know. I've been watching a series on this channel where some strong female characters are not like the typical. Usually in some stories, the authors make the strong female characters into healers, and that's like akin to their maternal instincts and like all that. And I don't like using air quotes, but I kind of like some series that I've been watching lately on the channel kind of escape that stereotype and that trope and show just badass female characters. And I think that Bairong gets out of that stereotype. Bairong is not in that stereotype. She's pretty badass while also being sexy and beautiful and feminine. So I don't know. I'm not docking or criticizing the creator. I just was expecting going into this to see Qiying fighting more. And maybe because of the circumstance, she's not. The novel will probably explain a little more about it. But it was a stereotype that I was kind of like, okay, she had to have like the guys coming in and saving her. And I'm like, well, to be fair, a lot of men have been having Shen Qiao save them too over the course of the novel. So it's not really a sexist thing. Shen Qiao's just pretty OP at this point. Anyway, so she's one of the top 10 martial artists. Now, this part here, when Shiwu, like, came up, we had, like, one thing this series loves is it loves a, like, spinning camera. It loves to rotate around them figures in this series. I try not to think too much about it, but it does make me a little dizzy sometimes. They're like, this is a beautiful spectacle. What a Shangri-La, isolated from the world. Birds of Shangri-La, great BL. Need to check that out. Zariah Maru, great story. So I also am realizing now that the bottom of Shen Qiao's robes also have the little yin and yang. Come on now. Come on. So this part here, where he said something was wrong, I was getting a little bit concerned because I thought, oh no, she was going to get to the top of these stairs and get attacked, which luckily did not happen, but I did like the eerie feeling that we got moving forward. So yeah, these people have been attacked by Kunie's forces. And then we see the little tablet that says Ron on it that's been covered in blood and scraped up. That clearly fell off of him, so I guess it was during the battle. I guess Ron's tablet fell off while he was fighting the one dude. We'll talk about the one dude. But we're going to put him over here, Ruan. And he had lost his tablet. And Shen Qiao had picked it up. Okay. So then we get them going to where the battle is. I really like Shiwu's character. As far as little kids go, I really like them. Okay, so meanwhile, the guest house, I'm guessing, is this at Yan Wushi's manor, at his place? So Yan Wushi, meanwhile, at the guest house. Maybe that means he's back at his own mansion? Or is he at, he was following Duan to where Qinggong was, but maybe he went back home because his disciple's there, so I think it's back at his place because the decor looks like it's back at his place. So yeah, so he's not doing good. The Phoenix descending has started, his chi deviation is occurring. It's not going great. All this red, like he's expelling all this energy, but it's not going great. And yeah. And he has all this in him. He's like, it's increasing. Yeah, it's like, this is not good. So he grabs this piece of paper and he's like, Grandmaster, my secret agent. I like that the disciple is secret agents. He's got people that are like going around getting him intel. The golden flower fingering. Let me just say, y'all, there were some choices for the translations in this episode that I was like, that was a choice. And so gold flower fingering, I was like, how did the gold flower fingering occur? Yan, tell us, please, in great detail. So he says, we're just going to put the golden flower, or the ring. What about the ring do we need to know, sir? That the ring showed up at, what does he say here? It showed up, this went by so quickly. Showed up at the Empire City of Hoooo with Duan Wen. Okay, so what he's basically saying is that Duan has it. And he's at the Empire City of Hoooo. Okay. So we're basically getting everybody up to speed that Duan has it. Along with the last volume, aka volume 5 of the Celerity. So that means there's still 2 volumes missing. Okay. That feels like a trap. That volume of the Celerity feels like a trap to lure Shen Qiao or Yan Wushi. Many martial artists are on their way to the dragon meet in the Empire City. I like the way that Yan Wushi's face is there as he's studying that piece of paper. He looks so earnest. It's such an interesting... You don't see him look earnest a lot, so to see his expression there is interesting. He's kind of like puzzled and earnest, like he's trying to figure it out. So, many martial artists are going to the dragon meet, whatever that is, at the Empire City. Okay. A gathering of sorts, if you will. Yeah, look at his face there! Look at his face! He looks like just what? What's going on? Little old me? It's very weird to see Yan Wushi be in a position of vulnerability and to also be earnest. It's a very weird look for him. Now that Shen Qiao has his sight back, I would like him to see these looks. I feel like these are important looks for him to see. So yeah, he's like, I didn't expect it would show up now. And then he coughs blood all over the paper. You can tell Jan's a little bit worried about it. He's like, oh, everything's fine. I'm fine. Everything's great. No, it's not. He's coughing up blood. Shen Qiao could relate. I wonder if it is a trap. I wonder if they say that the Celerity is going to be there, knowing that that would get Yan Wushi and Shen Qiao to come out of the woodwork. I feel it's a trap. I don't know if it's the actual Celerity that's there, but it feels like it's setting something up. I don't know. And he's like, okay. And yeah, so the disciple knows that something's up. Yeah, and what are we doing? Okay, so at least Yan knows that something's going on with Yan Wushi. So we'll see, or you rather. His disciple knows something's up. So meanwhile, at the Bixia sect, we have a battle going on. A battle is happening while the master is like meditating or whatever. I thought at first this lady that was fighting beside him was the leader, and I was like, no, her robes aren't glamorous enough. She looks too plain for it to be her. But this guy here, this tall man, you cannot tell me that this man did not have a crush on that leader Qi Ying. You cannot tell me that this man right here does not have a crush on her. We'll get back to her in a hot second. I want to see, so yeah, even a green hand then could become an elder of the sect. So he's basically making fun of that guy, being like, oh, you're the elder? Wow, you that are like pretty green, like what gives you the right? So Ron Hilo, he is the elder of the Dong Zhao sect. And apparently he used to be in the Bixia sect at one point. We'll find out. He used to be in this sect, and then some scandalous things happened. But yeah. So Bixia really has no eligible successor. And Mr. Ron and Mr. Liu have surrendered to our Beimu and have been rewarded a high position. Okay, so poo on me. Well, I mean, if you ask nicely, that has to be the author. Poo on me? Poo on me? Really? I'm sorry, but that has to be an author intentionally. There's no way. So one of the Beimu guys, we're going to put him down here. Oh my God, his name is literally Poo on me. Okay, he's a disciple of Kunye. Worth noting. He said if Mr. Yu could do the same and lead all the disciples to surrender, then you would certainly have a promising future. Otherwise, we're going to kill you like we do this rando here. So I guess his name is Mr. Yu. Is this correct? Yes, Yu Kunche. So Yu Kunchi is he's the elder of the Bixia sect. He's right under Qi Ying. He'd rather be on top of Qi Ying, but I don't know if that's going to happen for him. But he would like to be. He would probably like to be under her as well. I don't think he'd care what position he was in with her. But yeah, so yeah, he's like, well, you betrayed your master and became an elder. Okay, so he points out that Ruyan betrayed the Bixia sect, which we're going to find out the details of here in a little bit. But he spills the tea on that, and you conspired with Beimu to attack the sect. So, of course, why would you consider it brotherhood? He's like, don't you talk about brotherhood with me. Look at my sweet leopard print shawl. If Hui Leshan hadn't framed me. Okay, so he points out that Hui Leshan, he says that he framed Ruan back then. I think Hui was the former leader of the sect. He framed me up then, and otherwise I wouldn't have gone to Dongzhao. Yeah. And he's like, in the past 20 years, my hatred for Hui Leshan has never ended. I'm coming to avenge him today. This one guy looks like he's Ross from Friends. He just has that look on his face. He looks like Ross from Friends. So that was 20 years ago. That's crazy. 20 years ago, you say? Okay, here's my one thing. I didn't notice it with Modao Zushi. I didn't notice it with Heaven Official's Blessing. And I can't really say, it was kind of like this with Scum Villain, but not quite. And I wouldn't say it was like this with Word of Honor either, but I would not help but notice that, and I've been trying to skirt around it and not really say much about it, but with Kunye's forces, I don't know a lot about Chinese culture. I do not know a lot about Asian culture in general, so I'm coming at this from a very ignorant Western perspective, so please keep that in mind. I'm very well aware of my ignorance, but I do know from Western tradition, it has been a trope. I like Lord of the Rings. This is where I'm coming from with it. I like Lord of the Rings a lot. J.R.R. Tolkien is a masterclass writer. However, there have been some criticisms of Tolkien over the last several decades that his interpretation of the orcs, or the bad guys, portrays them in a light that is a bit derogatory and stereotyping it against people of color that were colonized during previous centuries past. It's playing off of a tradition of making the darker skinned characters be the antagonists and playing on stereotypes, right? And I can't quite say that this series is doing that because Chen Gong was a darker skinned, he was tan, he was darker skinned than some of the other characters. But one thing that is apparent is that a lot of the protagonist, and this is not true of all, because Bai Rong and Zhu Zhu and Song Jijing, they are all, like all of the people of the Heihuan sect, they are very pale, correct? But all of Kunye and Duan and their men are all like darker skinned, rugged type. And I don't know enough about Asian culture to know if that's like a stereotype or if that's like derogatory or if they even view it that way or if it's supposed to be like playing off of a specific minority within Asian cultures. I don't know. I just know it, and it, to me, because I'm used to seeing the whitewash colonialism from my Western perspective, I know what that looks like. I'm thinking of Pocahontas and the savages. Like, I think of that against indigenous peoples, and it's problematic. And it's been like they're all along with Kunye's people and his troop, but it was very apparent in this episode, and I've never called it out, but I'm just curious. I am curious in the comments down below. If you are from Asia, if you understand the climate, the culture, please educate this poor Western ass because I need some education. So if you want to comment in the comment down below and educate me, I would appreciate that because I want to come at it from a professional perspective. I'm an English teacher and I study literature, and so I want to be transparent and acknowledge those things when you see it, but I also want to make sure that I'm coming from it accurately, and because I don't know enough about stereotyping and minorities within Asian cultures, I don't feel as comfortable talking in more detail about it, which is why I'm asking you all to comment down below about it to help educate me for future comment sections. But I'm just curious. I'm more curious than anything is what I'm getting at. But it is something that was kind of noticeable in this episode. And I was like, I want to ask about it because I don't know what they're being based off of. I don't know. So I'm curious. And he's like, Mr. Ron, don't waste time on him. With Beimu behind you, you don't have to care about the Bixia sect. So basically, on me here, bore some sugar on me. He is saying that as long as you all side with Beimu, we're going to be fine. Everything's going to work out in your favor, right? So then he says, just give your full reign to your hatred and kill your adversaries today. Like, he's very much being Palpatine in this moment, saying, give in to your hatred. He's like, go on, let the hate flow through you. I kind of like the idea of him having this, hand that had the glowing green energy coming off of it. The green energy is related to Bixia's sect colors. So even though he's moved on to this other sect, you can tell his true cultivation skills still align with where he came from. So that's great. He's like, are you going to surrender or die? And this guy's like, nope, it took me forever to grow out this goatee. So no, sir. I'll never bring shame to our ancestors. I'll die and never surrender. Well, she kind of surrendered, so I guess you could have done it. He said, although Hui Lashan is a mean guy, he has a disciple of integrity. Okay, that's from his perspective, though. That's from his perspective. So then, as he's about to do something, that is when she steps in, and Shen Qiao is not going to let a lady put her life on the line for another man without stepping in to assist. I like how they call him out, and he's like, I'm Shen Qiao, Bond, James Bond. And I like that this guy actually says, he's like, why are you getting involved? He's like, this is none of your business. I actually love they stopped the battle, and he looked at Shen Qiao and was like, you have no business in this match. That's actually hilarious. He's like, why are you getting involved? And Shen Qiao's like, well, I didn't expect to interfere, but I have a disciple of Zhu Lingquan here, and I'm trying to get him to the master, and you all are in my way. I like that Shen Qiao takes it, and he turns it, and he's like, well, actually, I was supposed to be here, and you all are having this battle. Why? Why are you in my way? What a diva! Shen Qiao is a secret tsundere and a secret diva. He just doesn't want to admit it. Yan Wushi was trying to get the bad boy to come out of him, but Shen Qiao is committed to not letting that happen. The only time that the bad boy is going to come out of Shen Qiao is when they're in the bedroom. Mark my words. Clock it. Write it down. I made a fool of myself today in class, by the way. I had a student that was doing this, and to me it looked like they were taking tiny little symbols and making little sounds. I was like, oh, your little symbols. And they went, no. Clock it. And I went, oh. I showed my age in front of my students, and they were so embarrassed for me. I was like, makes sense. They're like, I just can't witness you killing all these disciples without taking action. I like the Shen Qiao's look. Look, I'm just a man of integrity. When I see people getting hurt and they can't defend themselves, I just feel like getting involved. Meanwhile, I do love his dreadlocks. I love the beads and the dreadlocks. I do love them. The braids. They're not dreadlocks, they're braids. And he's like, is he a disciple? And he's like, well, yes. I love the tenderness that Shen Qiao puts his hand on Shiwu. Like, yes, he's his last disciple. Like, there's such a little, a gentleness to that. And he just laughs. I'm like, dude. He's like, fine, all are here. He's just having a moment. He's like, whoever were here today, if my master was still alive, I would pay them back for what they did to me before. This guy is just really on a rampage about getting revenge today. And then Anmi's like, oh, I believe you familiar with my master Kunye. What? They're just bringing all this up. He's like, my master Kunye, he did a number on you back at Peak Bamboo. You were knocked off the cliff by my master and became disabled. I'm like, well, excuse you for being assuming. Where did you get the confidence to have a finger? Okay, this line here. He's like, you were disabled and thrown off a cliff to die. Where did you have the confidence to have a finger in the pie? And I'm like, well, a man that he knows had a finger in his pie, and now he's all good again. So, what that? I know what he means by finger in the pie. He's like, where do you get the right to, like, come and mess with our affairs? You shouldn't even be involved based on what's happened to you. That's what he means. But my mind's been in the gutter since, like, episode 12, so it's fine. And those guys just laughing like, ha, 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 ha. I swear, they just went to the gym and found every bro imaginable, and they're like, you want to go LARP? And then here we are. And Shen Qiao is like, you can laugh all you want. I like that Shiwu was like getting mad on his behalf. Like, don't laugh at my friend, Mr. Shen. I love that Shiwu was getting aggravated on his behalf. It was super cute. And Shen Qiao's like, nah, it's fine. He's like, I'm used to being bullied. I've come to accept it. It's fine. And he says, listen, I almost forgot to tell you. Your younger peer, Chief UI. He had to bring up UI. I was like, how dare you bring up UI? He says he was honored after the Yutai Tao meet, which Shen Qiao knows because of what him and Yan Wushi found out. So he knew this already. And he's like, congratulations. And I love that that's the only moment where Shen Qiao gets a little bit aggravated. His grip tightens on Shiwu just a little bit. And he's like, you could tell that struck a nerve. That he was just like, oh, you have cemented the fact I'm going to kick your ass right here, right now. Yeah, that little moment, if he hadn't defeated you then, you would be the one that would be honored today. And I like that Shen Qiao's like, yeah, sticks and stones can break my bones. Even if I'm a loser today, I would never rely on a robber who is rapacious and cruel. I love the idea that Shen Qiao, like, simultaneously backs himself up while also just shaming Kunye and UI. He's like, look, if me being a loser means I don't rely on a cheat and I'm not a scoundrel, then call me a loser all you want, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then he's just licking that sword while he's talking. Devious. He's like, what a rude Taoist you are. Yeah, Shen Qiao can be rude. He can be very blunt. He's like, great. Show me how you have recovered from your wound. Show me your moves! And I like Shen Qiao just steps out of the way, right? He's like, I came here to get Shiwu to this master and to kick ass, and you're not letting me do the first. So, and I like he says, how dare you keep your sword in your sheath? I'm like, Shen Qiao has kept his sword in his sheath the entire time. You are just a loser to my master. Show me your real strength. Well, and that's exactly what Shen Qiao ends up doing. The fight choreography in this, I like he uses the steps. If you know, you know, but it was reminding me of a character in another show I'm watching, Gentle Breezes. Was also reminding me of Word of Honor. Reminded me of some Word of Honor moves. Yeah. I thought when he fired that illusory sword, little finger shot there, I think is it a combination of the illusory sword and the lightning fingers that he learned from Yan Wushi? Is it a combo of that? I thought I was going to get that guy in the eye. I really did. I thought I was going to get him in the eye. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And so he gets up there. He's like, Mr. Ron, what are you waiting for? Get to fighting. I like that he's like, quit messing around. So yeah. And so then while they're fighting, all this is going on. I love the choreography. It was great. And Shen Qiao is just, he's able to hold his own. I love it. He's like, you're a real talent, Mr. Shen. Let me see if you are really so powerful. And then he decides to perform this Kamehameha straight up from Dragon Ball Z. And Shen's able to deal with them both, you know. He's really gotten a lot better since, you know, his foundation got restored. I love it. Just Shen Qiao being able to hold his own and win in this fight is so good. I love it. I love seeing him true to form. And then he's like, well, go ahead and kill them all. I like Shen Qiao's like, I guess I'm just going to have to defend everybody. But before we get to that, we see Qi-Ying. I guess she was just powering up. I'm gonna guess she was powering up. I love the dragons on the mats behind on the shades. That's so cool. Love that. And then she just goes through. Now, to be fair, I gave her a hard time at the beginning. She does take them all out. I know I said she didn't do much in this episode and I was kind of bummed. She did take them all out. We just didn't get to see her in action as much as I would have liked. But to be fair, she did take them out. That's fair. But Shen Qiao did a lot of the work, right? Shen Qiao did a lot of the work. I'm like, oh, leader, you're back. And then he sees her. Of course she turns around and Zhao Qiying, she's freaking gorgeous. Of course she is. One thing I do like that I will say is much like the guy characters in this series, and this may seem like a tiny thing, they do make all the women look different. I like that. Like, Juju looks different than her. Bai Rong looks different than her. They have different eyes, different faces. They are not like a stereotypical girl one with boobs and different color hair, you know? I appreciate that. I appreciate the care to detail. And he looks like he's just seen the love of his life. And I was like, did you have a thing for her? So then she turns back. I love her little turquoise brooches. I'm like, did her and this guy here, are they a thing? Are they a thing? This man wishes they were a thing. He really does, you can tell. He's like, oh, leader. He's like, how can you? And she's like, oh, don't worry, I'm here. She's like, it's fine. I got this. I like the translation of alas. Anytime something says alas, it makes me think that we're like back in the Middle Ages. You failed because of me. And he's like, no, she's like, you did fail. But I'm not going to hold it against you. She's like, it's fine. So yeah, and they all like revere her. So there is that at least. And then again, this guy. She's just awesome. I love her brooches. So pretty. And she's like, Mr. Ron, sorry for the offense. I like that she's suddenly like immediately apologizes to him. I'm like, girl, he showed up to wreck your shit. What are you talking about? And he says, is he still alive? Ask Li Hui Leshan to show up. So he was under the impression how he didn't know. I don't understand. You would think that old poo on me, you would think that he would tell him ahead of time about all this, but apparently not. So he was expecting to come here and fight after 20 years. And no, he did. He did. And so Zhao Qiying gives him the tablet that's basically the funeral tablet for, they have a name for it, which I'll get to in a second. She's like, not even Master had expected that what he owed you before death would repay with the lives of half the disciples afterwards. I like that she says that. She's like, he died and you basically showed up and killed half the people here. Like, he wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that trade-off. And then old Ruan is like, well, he can't repay what he owed me. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. How can he die so early, considering his cunningness? He must be ashamed to see me for all his mean practices. And she's like, look. And everybody's kind of surprised that she's the one apologizing to him. And then girl pulls out her magic sleeves. I wish I had magic sleeves that I could carry I wouldn't need a purse if I had magic sleeves. That'd be amazing. But she pulls out the tablet and gives it to him, which is a pretty big deal to give like the tablet of memoriam to him. But yeah, Master said when he was dying that he was to blame for it. So basically he admitted his wrongdoing before he died. He admitted his sins before death. Which I do think plays a part in this, because he was able to admit and she came to understanding. So, here we go. We get this flashback, like, real quick. You should have acceded to the position of leader then. So we have him looking over, and we see him. So Ruan should have been the leader. I feel like the novel's going to go into more detail about this, and they just rushed through it because they didn't have time. But okay. You should have succeeded the position of leader then. So then, okay, we have Ruan Hilo and Hui Leshan. Okay, so Leshan is the one here with the long hair. And Ruan is the one there with the bun. Yep. It says, for his personal interests, however, he used tricks to cause the Grand Master to misunderstand your immoral affairs with his daughter. Okay, so Hey LeSean was, so basically he said what did he say, the Grandmaster? I want to go back to that real quick. I want to go back to that. I do love the drawings, by the way. They are gorgeous. So he was set up to be the leader on there. But then for his personal interests, so LeSean used tricks to cause the Grandmaster. Basically, he set this all up. He said he used tricks to cause the Grandmaster to misunderstand your immoral affairs with his daughter. So basically, he tricked the Grandmaster to believe that Ruan was having an affair with the daughter. That's what, like, tricked him for it. I was like, what? What? Crazy. And then from there, he forced you to leave in anger and roam about. So because of the lies that happened, he was kicked out. It looks like maybe she was trying to hold him back to keep him from leaving, but then he left. And that was like 20 years ago. Despite his succession to the leadership, Master felt sorry in his life and died at a young age. Okay, so the Grandmaster was the old man, but LeSean and Ruan were the same age. So they were probably like 20 around that time. And he died young. LeSean did. And now Ruan, I'm like, is this a secret? Is this a secret, BL? Is this a secret ship between Ruan and LeSean? Was this a secret ship and he was pissed about it and then they had a scuffle and then now he's come back to fight him and he's dead already? Seems like it is. She's like, I must bear all of his crimes as his successor personally. Interesting. I will accept your punishment on behalf of my master. But you know it's not going to be the same, her accepting it, than you giving it to LeSean. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to, whatever punishment you give her is not going to equate it because she didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. She just found out when he died and now she's relaying it to you. Like, I feel like this Ruan guy had it out for LeSean. Interesting. And he goes to hurt her, and I like that Shen Qiao is like, do I get involved? he's like, I can't let somebody just die. I like that she holds him back. She's like, no, I'm going to accept it. Just allow all crimes and killings to stop from here. Like, she was willing to sacrifice herself to stop it all from happening. Like, I give her a hard time for falling into that trope, but I do really like her. I kind of take back what I said earlier. She is really good. I think I was kind of like expecting her to be different from the start, but I really like her character, so I take back what I said at the beginning of the episode. Okay. He's like, never do that, leader. Never do that. And then he cries. Like, oh, Ruan's crying because he doesn't get to fight his old rival. If that's what you want to call it. Yeah. Like, this man's going insane because he can't fight his rival and has been given his funeral tab. And so he goes to attack her, but Shen Qiao gets in the way. Or no, he doesn't attack her. Shen Qiao did not get in the way. He just left. Interesting. He kind of went crazy, and that was the part that was confusing. I thought for a second that Shen Qiao got in the way, but he didn't. And then he didn't hurt her. So I think he just kind of like went crazy knowing all this and went to go jump off the cliff. And he ended up sparing her. So, okay. So they said, you quit cultivation for us. So, and I'm afraid your efforts these years. And she's like, it's ignorable compared with the mutual killings of our disciples. So did she give up? Take away poo on me. So did she like quit cultivation like as for penance? Maybe? I feel like we're going to find out in the novel. I feel like the novel's going to clear things up. And he's like, well, my master will visit here and save me soon. Just be smart enough to release me. Then he looks over, he says, otherwise, my master will have a grand slaughter. And look, Shen Qiao can stay out of the affairs of Ruan with Bixia. It's not any of his business. But you bring Kunye and Beimu up into this, and Shen Qiao's going to have the last word. It's just how he is. He's like, well, Beimu has done great evils. Releasing you will just add to such evils. Like, Shen Qiao's like, just get locked up. Like, bring it on. Have your man Kunye come get you. Come at us, bro. Like, essentially is what he is. I like that he's like, well, do you know what you are talking about? Don't you think you can do everything with Yan Wushi behind you? Now, to be fair, these guys, so Beimu and them still think that Shen Qiao and Yan Wushi are together. They have no clue what has been happening with Heiwan behind the scenes. They don't know that business going on. And so he basically says, well, Shen Qiao, you got a sugar daddy behind you, and that's why you're not scared. And he's like, I have to warn you, Mr. Shen, that Yan Wushi is in danger himself now. I do think it is important that Yan Wushi's, like, this part about him is told to Shen Qiao. So Shen Qiao is told that Yan Wushi is in danger. He's told him he's in danger. And so he knows that something's going on. He's like, compared with him, our Beimu is a more reliable guardian. And this is bringing up the idea that Beimu, we're having these two dilemmas. We're having everybody getting behind Beimu, but that will lead to Beimu being in charge, which Shen Qiao thinks is really a bad idea for reasons we've talked about. But then there's also Yan Wushi and his charge, but that's kind of very flimsy right now because of Yan Wushi's condition and also the fact that not a lot of people support him. So it's like, eh. And then Shen Qiao here, he's like, well, I have nothing to do with Yan Wushi. There is a part of me that thinks more happens in the novel than what happened in the show with them. Because, I mean, what happens in the show is really bad between them, but I'm like, between episodes 12 and 13, I'm like, was it really bad? And I guess, 11, 12, and 13. I'm like, that was bad, but was it bad enough for him to say he has nothing to do with him? I feel like in the novel something else happens, and we just don't know it. Don't tell me. We'll find out soon enough. But him saying he has nothing to do with Yan Wushi. He's like, stop your nonsense. But nobody really hears him. He's like, Shen Qiao, my master, will certainly kill you for the bad treatment of me. I feel bad this moment because I'm like, Shen Qiao, you're saying that you want nothing to do with Yan Wushi because you feel betrayed by him. Even though I'm like, you have to know that Yan Wushi saved you from drowning. You have to know that him putting the evil essence in you was to help reestablish everything. You have to know these things are possibilities. And here's my thing. If Yan Wushi gets in danger, I feel like what Shen Qiao is going to do is going to be the answer to Shiwu's question. Because Shiwu was like, would you be able to forgive someone that hurt you? Would you be able to forgive someone that betrayed you? Which I think Shen Qiao believes that Yan Wushi has done at the moment, even though we, the audience, are like, come on. And so it's more complicated than that. But I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that Shen Qiao will rescue Yan Wushi. He will save him because part of him having a pure heart and part of him being, the patron saint that he is that he will forgive the person that hurt him. He will forgive him and save him because that's just who he is. And I think that will end up being his answer to Shiwu. But for right now, our boy is trying to be anti-Yan Wushi. And I'm like, my dude, he's been helping you all this time, So anyway, she's like, hey, it's all right. She's like, thank you for aiding us. We owe you a lot. And he's like, oh, you're welcome. He's like, I'm afraid that Ruyan might come back with his lingering hatred. And she's like, well, and that's when they hear him and they go to where he is and he's on the edge of the cliff. 20 years. I have prepared in the past 20 years. There's a part of me that's like, okay, he's just mad that he can't fight his rival and he's mad that he can't see him again and he's prepared these last 20 years and now it's all for nothing. And so he's just ready to let go because he doesn't feel like he has anything left. There's a part of this that feels like it's sort of making a slight reference to what could be between Yan Wushi and Shen Qiao. Like if Shen Qiao was just like, oh, this man betrayed me, I'm never coming back to see him or whatever, and all this time passes. Or if Shen Qiao was like that with UI, there's a part that feels like this is like a possibility that's akin to that, showing us like an example. I like that they're like, don't jump off, never do that. And he's like, put down the steel of the Grandmaster. Mm-hmm. And he's like, LeSean, you owe me so much, but you died early to escape it. Good calculations on your part. Oh, man. And then I like that Shen Qiao's like, hey, before you jump, was this yours? Was this yours? I feel like, again, there's going to be more in the novel with it. And Shen Qiao's like, I couldn't help but notice you dropped this. And then he looks back all of them and says, Shen Qiao, if someone has bullied, humiliated, and tortured you, will you forgive them? I mean, when we go back to this whole thing about if they bullied, humiliated, and tortured you, I mean, bullied, yes, Yan Wushi did bully him a little bit. Humiliated, I don't know if Yan Wushi humiliated him. I don't think that he did at all. Tortured, I know that was San Zhijing, not Yan Wushi necessarily. Humiliated, I guess maybe UI or Kunye might have done all of that. Interesting. Would you forgive them? And I'm like, I feel like, again, unless Yan Wushi tortured him and humiliated him, maybe the novel goes into more detail with that. I feel like he hadn't entirely done that to him. Like, bullied him, yes. Yes. Followed him, stalked him, yes. Yes. Flirted with him aggressively, yes. Yes. And maybe it's supposed to represent Yan Wushi, UI, and Kunye. Could he forgive any of those three? I feel like Yan Wushi, sure, you would think he'd forgive him. I don't know. But UI, I think he would forgive UI in the end because they were childhood friends. Kunye, though, I don't know. Shen Qiao doesn't say, we reduce our obsessions every day. And he's like, I have to let it go. So he says he would let it go. Now, he says he would let it go. But then he said he had nothing to do with Yan Wushi. We're going to see where that goes. We're going to see where that goes. But that's not the answer that Ruyan expected. He couldn't do it, and so he's like, I can't go back anymore. I've killed too many disciples. How could I let it go? I just have to pay it back with my life. But LeSean, you owe me so much. How can you repay me? I think this was a secret. I think it was a secret Yowie. The secret ship. I think we watched a secret ship go down into the afterlife. And they were like, well, we're all super fast. But we're not fast enough to stop him. Super high speeds, but not enough to prevent that from happening. No. So, we go back to Zhangyang Palace, and that's when Shen Qiao's like, well, hey, great to see you. So here's your new little prodigy. Hope y'all are good. Okay, I'm going to leave. And she's like, no. I like that she sits him down. She's like, hey, you showed your commitment to your promise when Mr. Zhu said he was dying, and you delivered Shiwu here. And you saved all our disciples. You have all of my thanks. And Shen Qiao's like, yes, Mr. Zhu died, all because of me. You can tell that Shen Qiao is still really hurt by the fact that Master Zhu is dead. He's like, it was my fault that he died. Which, I mean, yes, technically, it is his fault technically because they were looking for Shen Qiao, and that's what led them to the Bailong Temple and all that to happen, but, And so you could tell Shen Qiao's like, hey, I'm so sorry. Here, to make it up, thank you. I'm glad to have helped your clan and everything. Now we're even. I'm going to give you Shiwu. It's all going to work out. That'll be great. And now I'm going to be on the way. And she's like, well, we didn't expect Mr. Zhu to die. You're not to blame for it. And he's like, well, your generosity is, I like that he says there, he's like, oh, your generosity is too kind. That's, now I'm going to leave. But that's not what happens. No. He said, it only adds to my sorrow because you're so nice about it. And she's like, oh, just wait. We're not done with this conversation. He said, although Mr. Zhu left, he always took himself as a member of Bixia sect. And so he gives her the little tablet that says Zhu. And that's when she springs this on Shen Qiao. And she's like, so, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a solid? Because, see, I quit cultivating. You see, it's just really bad timing that you came. And so you've seen the riffraff that's out there. We're not exactly running at full speed in this joint. So she's like, if Shiwu needs to have someone to be his guardian and instructor, then I hope you can be the one. And Shiwu, of course, is like, hell yeah! And Shen Qiao was like, I didn't sign up for foster care. I like these, like, I'm afraid that would be against the wish of Mr. Zhu. And she's like, well, if he requests Shiwu to come back simply for his fear of homelessness, and, we have a policy. We can't do that. But our sect has internal conflicts and scarcity. She's like, we're talentless. We have no place for him to stay. There's no vacancies. I can't believe that Shiwu is going to go with Shen Qiao. What happened today has made it worse. And, what if Kunye shows up? I'm just afraid the genius of Shiwu will be wasted. Man, that woman spun her words. She was like, he really needs somebody amazing to teach him. And I just can't think of anybody else but you. Now, on the one hand, I was going to feel bad if Shiwu left, because I think Shiwu is amazing and adorable. I was going to feel bad with him leaving. However, I do think Shiwu is in a lot of danger if he's with Shen Qiao. Shen Qiao is kind of in the maw of the lion, like 24/7. I feel like having Shiwu follow Shen Qiao, I'm like, also, Shen Qiao, they just said, has a huge target on his back because of his association, whether he likes it or not, with Yan Wushi and with Kunye. I'm like, so Shen Qiao that's being chased by Kunye and his men, you're going to send Shiwu with him? Okay. I was like, oh man, it's the best choice for him. And he's like, and I do like that Shen is good about it. Whenever Shiwu goes to serve him the cup of tea, I like that Shen Qiao is like, you know what? I need somebody to help bide my time since I'm not thinking of Yan Wushi. No, sir, not thinking about him at all. Would never think of him. I need something to help pass the time. So yeah, sure. He is really adorable though. I like Shiwu. It's cute. So yeah, he's like, all right, and I'm sorry, that little smile that Shiwu gives, that's precious. I can't turn him down. He's like, also do me a favor. And she's like, well, you're taking this kid off our hands, so what? He says, in the battle with Kunye then, despite some special reasons, I am still the loser and I must admit it. If I have another chance to battle with Kunye in the future, I'm going to do my best. Please give me this chance. Basically, he's like, if Kunye comes coming here to beg for some, like, support, will you let me face him first? Because even though what happened in the past is over, I need to face him again. She's like, what if I refuse? He's like, well, then I would have to stay here and wait for Kunye. I like that basically Shen Qiao's like, I'm going to become a squatter and stay here and draw a lot of attention to you all if you don't help arrange this. And she's like, son of a bitch. She's like, I was trying to get rid of all you people. She's like, it's great luck for us to have such a great friend as you. Yeah, she's like, son of a bitch, I was trying to get rid of y'all. If Zhu could sacrifice his life for me as a stranger, then I would, of course, battle for Bixia. And she's like, oh, great, you're battling for us? Wonderful, we love that. But I have some historic relations with Kunye, and it's time to settle them now. So basically, he's like, can I basically call on y'all to back me up? Like, be here to back me up. Watch over Shiwu. Can you watch Shiwu for a hot second while I go battle Kunye? And then afterwards, me and Shiwu will peace out. You guys can have this place and it'll be all good to go. Is that all right? Are we good there? That's essentially what he's saying. So these next two episodes are setting up for our boy Shen Qiao to fight Kunye. Now, do I think Yan Wushi's going to get involved? Of course I do, because that's his boo, and we haven't seen Yan Wushi in the last two episodes very much, so you definitely notice his presence when he's not there. Like, I love Shen Qiao, and I love the episodes with him, and I like watching it, and I like watching Shen Qiao's journey. I'm not mad at that at all, but I kind of miss our daddy diva. I miss him. So, I'm curious to know. Here's the thing. This would be wild. We started out this series with Shen Qiao being attacked by Kunye and Yan Wushi finding him, picking him up and carrying him off to take with him. It would be very interesting if we ended this season with Yan Wushi stepping in and getting hurt by Kunye and getting knocked out, and then Shen Qiao with Shiwu. That's exactly what we're going to do. We start out the series with Yan Wushi and his disciple stumbling upon Shen Qiao after being beaten up by Kunye, and we're like, all right, let's take him back and nurse him back to health. It would be amazing if we'd end this series with Shiwu and Shen Qiao finding Yan Wushi, who maybe he interferes and steps in and fights Kunye and gets hurt, and they yoink up Yan Wushi and take him back to go nurse him back to health. The parallels, the poetry, we can only hope, but who knows? I'm not holding my breath. This creator may decide to do something totally different, so... Anyway, I'm super excited. Next week is the penultimate episode of the Donghua. So exciting. And I'll be able to probably tell you all unless I have to record ahead. Which, who knows, that may happen. But by the end of the Donghua, I'll know how we're going to be organizing the reactions for the novel and things like that. So I'll be able to tell you by episode 16 at least. But anyway, next week's the penultimate episode. So I hope you all enjoyed my rambles and my reactions. Please leave me a comment down below of your thoughts. And I'm excited to see where we go to from here. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of Thousand Autumns. See you then.